Hey everybody, this is Jamie Shaw and Wonderwit, and this is Thriving Thursday. So where did I come up with Thriving Thursday? My mentor gave me some advice to kind of rebrand my show and give it a catchy title like Thriving Thursday or Throwback Thursday or something like that, and I thought it was a cool idea and something that was catchy. And sorry, I just got done stuffing my face, so but I thought it was a catchy title, and I didn't want to do it by myself this time because I did the Jamie Shaw Marketing Show by myself most of the time except for the first of the month, and I had Wonder Wit come on with me. So I figured it was a perfect mesh because we get along so well to bring Wonder Wit on full time. So my new business partner and friend, Wonder Wit.
Sorry, I got to unmute myself, and I'm not the techie one, so apparently that's difficult today. Yes, but I'm excited about this show. I always look forward to coming on with Jamie on the first of the month, and granted, today was a very busy Thursday. I was telling Jamie, I'm like, I've got a full-blown mom schedule, but I'm coming. I came in hot like 2 minutes before. But I like Thriving Thursday. I think just going back from my story, for those of you guys who know, being in survivor mode was not an option for me, and coming from being a survivor of whatever your circumstances are or past experiences were, and choosing to thrive, choosing that this isn't enough, I want more. And I think that title spoke to me a lot. So when Jamie said he was rebranding his show and he wanted me to come on, I was like, yes, let's do it. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what's coming around.
Yeah, and a lot of the things we want to cover, our mindset, how to talk to customers. We'll be covering techie stuff like setting up the blog and setting up pages on the blog and doing funnels, and and if you guys out there have questions that you want answered, that's what we're here for. That's what the show is going to be all about, answering your questions as you come on and interact with us and stuff like that. So we might come up with questions that we had when we started out, and we'll answer them questions for you because we had them when we started out and we were beating our head against the wall. I'm sure you're beating your head against the wall too, struggling and trying to figure out how to make this business work. So
yeah, for sure. I know I had plenty of questions coming in, especially on the tech side, and I think that's the cool part about you and I when we partner up together, is because I come in with people skills and communication skills, and then Jamie has the other side where it's a lot of the tech stuff, and of course we mesh together on mindset. So it's a good ebb and flow, and it's a good diversity into one little setting. So I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm a little tired, but I'm excited.
I've been excited all week too. I think that's why I've had a tension headache for the last 3 days, because I've been excited to get the show rolling and excited about laying out the new content and stuff like that. A lot of you are on the new web page and everything. It took me about 2 hours to build this page, and I want to go over it real quick and just kind of show you guys how to log in and stuff like that. You got the video up here, Thriving Thursday. I haven't got any of the blog about us, contact us set up yet, so just the homepage. Have this big get started now button. That's if you want to join either one of us in the system that we use, then cool, you can join us. Then when you got your chat, there's a log out button here. It should say log in on your side. Hit that button and log in. You can log in with your Facebook. Hi Carlene, how are you? And then you can interact with us and chat with us. If you want to get a hold of me personally, you can hit the contact Jamie Shaw button, and it'll take you right to my Facebook profile, and you can send me a message. If you want to get in contact with Wonderwit personally, because you jive with her and what she says, they hit the contact Wonderwit button. It'll take you directly to her Facebook page, and you can connect with her and send her a message. all this stuff. I'm going to fill out this soon. I don't have this area done or our contacts done yet, but we're going to have some questions down here later on as I build out the website some more. So that's kind of how the website rolls. So if you have questions, don't be afraid to ask us.
Yes, for sure. It's definitely one, not only can we actually help you progress better if you're actually asking questions in the chat, it's actually fun for us, even if it's not on topic for whatever we've got planned. I know tonight we're just kind of weren't really planning on presenting a whole lot, but if you have questions, ask them. I mean, this is your opportunity to learn, so just take it and run with it. And two, it makes this dynamic a lot more entertaining for us and for you guys. And I just think it's a lot more conversational. And for anyone who knows me, I'm all about a good conversation.
Oh yeah, I mean, because we're going to cover lots of stuff. I have a lot of techie stuff that I can cover, like the blog, funnelizer, setting up funnelizer. I did a big training on YouTube. I've got some YouTube tips and tricks. I've got some Facebook fan pages tips and tricks that I've set up fan pages. I've grown my fans page up to 10,000. Of course, it's dropped off a little bit down to about, I think it's got about 9,500 followers on it now and likes on it. But, and I wonder what was telling me about a strategy that she has on Facebook now that she's testing right now, so eventually we'll bring something like that to the table too. We want to bring stuff to the table that we're learning and doing stuff. She's getting the techie stuff down as I teach her, and I'm getting the communication stuff down as she teaches me. So
no, the funny part is anytime I come across a strategy, it's usually by accident. And then I'm like, Jamie, what's going on? But this time I was actually able to figure out what happened. What happened before contacting Jamie, which made it more exciting because then he didn't have to figure out what I was saying in non-techie.
Oh yeah, I mean, even our big leader had a big fire alarm today. His 24-hour marketing mastermind website got hacked today, and he messaged me, dude, I need your help now. I'm at work. How many hours before you get home? I said, this is 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm like 6. He's like, oh, I can't wait. So I said, send me the link. And I started looking at it and started looking for a solution and everything. I said, call your hosting support, and finally, he was having problems calling from South Africa I think he used HostGator, I think it was, calling them because all he has to call with is Skype, because a regular cell phone would cost him, ungodly call in the United States, call HostGator in the United States. So he finally got a hold of him on Skype, and the tech girl she got actually fixed her site, and I'd given him some solutions and stuff. It showed it as a harmful site when you went to his website and showed it, but who's Dave come to? He comes to me because he knows I deal with blogs and stuff all the time. So
yes, you're our fearless tech guy. You're like Bomb Squad.
I was setting up this site, or not actually this site, the other site, Penny Pincher Marketing, where I had my other show on. I was trying to update Optimize Press because that's what we use to run the show on, Optimize Press, and it's another WordPress add-on that it makes it easy to build capture pages and web pages and stuff like that. And every time I updated Optimize Press, I would throw my site into maintenance mode. So I had to go back into my hosting program and restore my site. So finally I gave up when I got this idea from my mentor to do Thriving Thursday. I'm like, I'm going to build this website without Optimize Press, because I invested in the Divi theme and the Divi 3.0 builder, probably 4 or 5 months ago, and I had not built a site with it yet. I've been through 2 or 3 classes on how to build a Divi site, and my MLSP blog is built on Divi. Of course, it's Divi 2.0, so you don't get the live editor. And I'm going to be displaying how to build a page and stuff live on this show with Divi 3.0, so you guys can see how easy it is to use. So I set this page up in Divi 3.0 in about 2 hours. And then this week I set up my Shaw Consulting Services website in about 2 hours. So I got 5 videos done this week on how to get your hosting on WordPress, how to install WordPress. So there you go. You've been asking me how to get this WordPress stuff going on your website. I just did 5 videos on how to do it all, and they're all on my YouTube channel.
Oh my gosh. And I'm so terrible. Like, there's so much I need to get caught up on because I took my website down, I took my blog down, I took all of it down. And so I don't have anything running right now, and I feel naked as a marketer. I'm like, I need a website, but I've been so busy testing other things and just working on a lot of different things right now that I just haven't. I shouldn't say I haven't had the time, but I really haven't. So it's like haven't made time to do anything besides what I'm already doing. And I'm running a mindset development program for somebody in her MLM and her downline, her team, and she runs a group. And so that's what's been occupying my mind. I did a 30-day, like basically a 30-day guide that I'm going to run people through, which is really cool. I've done this before for teams, but I'm excited because this is going to be on a larger scale than I've worked before. So I'm excited for that.
And sure, you have a full-time job besides, doing marketing. You're a mom, so that's a full-time job right there in itself.
My poor kids. I have 3 kids that just like, I was talking to somebody the other day too. Somebody posted a reference about school and conformity and stuff like that. And I mentioned, that's why I teach my kids mindset and entrepreneurship at home. And they were a little bit taken back. They're like, you teach your kids entrepreneurship? And I'm like, well, yeah. My boys are the oldest. They're twins, and they're almost 7, and then my daughter's 4. And I've been doing this for several years, so their earliest memories are me working from home. So, like, there's a lot of things that they've just absorbed. They've been on webinars with me. Like, it's late when these webinars come on. I'm putting them to bed, and if they're laying on me while we're watching a webinar, they're absorbing this information, and it's gotten to the point where, like, my alpha twin, if he hears me, I talk out loud to myself all the time. If there were hidden cameras in my house, you'd swear I was crazy. But I talk out loud, and sometimes I'll ask myself a question and he'll answer. And that's how I know he's listening. It's crazy because sometimes he comes up with better answers than myself or another adult will come up with. And it's a little funny, but at the same time, it's almost comforting for me because education systems fail entrepreneurs all the time. I mean, half the time, most of your very successful entrepreneurs were very terrible at school. And it's because we don't fit into that structure. There's very few of us that are adaptable to a mold, and then coming out of that, there's a lot of different things that the school system doesn't really supply for an entrepreneur. And as far as mindset goes, that's definitely not something taught in schools. So for me, being a stay-at-home single parent with 3 kids, it's incredibly invaluable to be an entrepreneur, and knowing that that's just in my blood. I mean, I opened my first business at age 9 when I started charging my siblings to do their chores around the house. I see problems. I provide solutions. That's exactly what business is, and that's what it should be. And I was listening to Simon Sinek's Start With Why. I've gotten into audiobooks now because I'm moving so fast throughout the day that I can't just sit down and read. But I was listening to this, and I'm on one of the last chapters, and it was mentioning that communication is listening more than it is talking. And I thought that was funny because I've always mentioned that marketing is 100% communication. So by default, it's 100% listening. And if you're listening to your audience, then you can provide a solution. And if you don't know what your audience wants, then you're not listening close enough.
Yeah, exactly. And all of us have a little entrepreneurship in us because, if you think about it, my great-grandparents owned a restaurant, so they were entrepreneurs. My grandparents owned a farm, so they grew up being farmers. When you're a farmer, you're self-employed, so they're entrepreneurs. And all of us, I mean, how my dad and my generation got away from the entrepreneurship, I don't know, but it was still in my blood because, I've been in engineering for 18 years, and I've worked other jobs throughout my career and stuff, but I've never been satisfied with what I'm doing until I started chasing the home business industry. And I had the hardest time figuring out the secret. I've been in home business, for around 10 years. And, I was always chasing the secret, not really chasing shiny objects, but, I never could figure it out. And the thing I figured out, about a year and a half ago is when I aligned with Pops and Katie and Dave and Pat Patterson, is you need mentors. And that's one of the big things that we'll cover, as this show progresses on mentorship, stuff like that, and a mentor plays a big role because, and I told the story on the Jamie Shaw Marketing Show a couple weeks ago about how, if I hadn't met Pat Patterson at an event and listened to the advice he gave me, that's the key. I listened to the advice he gave me. I wouldn't be here today because I probably would have quit back then. I was that frustrated.
Yeah, that's just it. Like, mentorship is invaluable. I mean, I hate to keep using that word just because it loses its meaning after a while, but it's nobody gets to the big leagues without a coach, and you need coaches, you need mentors. And I'd like to point out that there's a difference between an active mentor and a silent mentor. Silent mentors are the ones we look at, like Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar, people who aren't around, or it's not feasible to coach us hands-on and actually dialogue and communicate what you need to be working on, or maybe where you need to improve. An active mentor does that. An active mentor dives in and is either rewiring your brain, taking it, and a good mentor will really do a lot. As there's I want to say that there's different kinds of mentors. I mean, you might have a business mentor and you might have a relationship mentor. There's people who can kind of cover both, or kind of cover multiple areas that you need help with. But as far as I'm concerned, it's always a great idea to have multiple mentors, just because you get a diversity in your education and you get a little well-rounded. But also too, when it comes to mentorship, it's going to be wiser to pick mentors who are closer to being in harmony than out of harmony. You don't want a mentor who's pushing you one direction and then another one who's pulling you another direction, just because obviously that's not going to work out very well. But mentorship, it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah, I agree, and the one key factor that I can give you about mentorship, before you start searching for a mentor, you need to, this is my favorite saying, get out of your own way. You have to be responsible for your actions, because if you don't, it's nobody's fault. If you're failing, it's nobody's fault but yours. You need to look in the mirror and face who's stopping you, because you're the one who's stopping you. And then as soon as you figure that out and make that decision that you're the one stopping you and you need to get out of your own way, then you can start searching for a mentor. And a mentor's job is not to do the work for you. It's to course correct you and point you in the right direction.
Exactly. I don't think most mentors would be afraid to get a little hands-on, but definitely it's more of a guide. It's not a babysitter. It's not somebody who's going to piece the puzzle pieces together for you. It's somebody who respects the fact that this is a path, it's a journey, it's a process, and they're there to kind of keep you. Mentors are like the dads of marketing or any endeavor that you do. Because like a mom, I'm a mom. I know this. A mom will be there and, oh, they fell down. Let me wipe them up. Let me clean them up. With my kids, I'm like, oh God, they fell down. I need to clean them up. Make sure they're, nothing's broken, nothing's bruised, sort of thing. But a dad's like, dads are typically a little bit more standoffish, and they're like, yeah, just get back up, go that way. And that's what a mentor does. A mentor is, keeping you on track, making sure that you're not, about to fall off a cliff. But at the same time, they're not there, patting you down and putting on your diaper. I mean, that's not what it's about. And as far as like, for me, anybody that I've mentored and that I consult with, I make sure that they know that from the get-go. Like, I'm going to push your buttons from time to time, but I'm going to keep you on the right path.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Jamie knows.
And you make an excellent point. If you're a parent, then you're a mentor, because you're teaching your kids to walk, you're teaching them to eat for the first time, you're teaching them how to study when they go to school, you're teaching them how to be responsible, by getting on the bus if they ride the bus, or walking back and forth to school, and by doing their homework. You're mentoring them their whole lives until they're adults. So you are a mentor from the time you have a child until, my kids are all grown, but they still come back home.
I was going to say, I don't think it ever ends. You said until, and I'm like, nope, it never ends.
Exactly.
It never ends, because then eventually you become a grandparent, and then your grandkids are doing the same thing. But parenting is probably one of the ultimate mentorships, and one of the most important in a lot of ways, because you're shaping a human. It's like, I was explaining to a friend the other night, I was like, you have until age 7. At age 7, your core personality characteristics and traits are already formed. So after that, it becomes, I won't say impossible, because I don't believe that anything's impossible, but it becomes exponentially more difficult to shape core values in a human being. So in my book, and this is the same friend I was talking about teaching my kids entrepreneurship too, was that, in my head, I knew, I found that out when they were like 2. And I was like, oh my God, my boys are 2. I only have till 7. I only have 5 years. And, to a lot of people, oh, 5 years is a long time. And I'm like, no, not when you consider, like, you have 5 years to shape an entire human for the rest of their life. I'm like, don't mess up, no pressure. As a single parent, that's even more daunting, because there's only one of you. You've got no backup.
Oh, exactly. You got to be mom and dad both, so.
Yeah, there's no good cop, bad cop routine. It's mostly bad cop.
Mm-hmm. I know I've always been the bad cop. My wife's always, the good cop. Dad always says no, so they run to mom and ask mom, because mom always says yes. So I'm used to being the bad guy. But to me, being a mentor and everything as a father, it gets harder, especially with girls when they become of age, because then you got boyfriends involved, and let's face it, some boys can be real douchebags. And I've dealt with a couple with my youngest daughter and my oldest daughter, and sometimes you just want to go and grab these kids and smack the shit out of them and straighten them out, but you can't as a father and as a mentor, because you'll get in trouble. And
not only is it legally bad, but
it's morally bad too. How it'll look. Dad smacks the crap out of boyfriend.
Man, but yeah, once you get to a certain age, there's a lot more outside influence. Even as time progresses, you see it more and more. But once kids get to, a certain age where, they start bringing home people that are highly influential more than we'd like. This is definitely exponentially difficult.
I don't want to set that kind of example to my kids and my grandkids, that the simple solution is to smack the crap out of somebody, because that ain't a good solution. a good solution is try to give them some advice and, you know, point them in the right direction, course correct them. Sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't. So.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing is you don't want to ever. A friend will tell you the answers, but a mentor will show you why. A mentor will ask you the questions to make you realize them. So there's a big difference, you know. And I think I've said that to somebody before, like, hey, you want nice and you want easy, go to your friends. I'm not your friend. I'm here to help, and I'm going to help you figure this out for yourself, so that way you're actually growing. Because if a mentor is doing it for you, you're not actually growing. You're not actually learning something new, or more importantly, how to do it yourself.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. You have to be able to start doing things yourself. This is a big process. It is a big process. And there, of course, there's times where you're like tearing your hair out and you're like, oh, I wish it was easy. If it were easy, everybody would do it. But it's not. It's simple. It's not easy.
Exactly. And you're going to go through rough patches. I've been through rough patches. Wonder What's picked me up and brushed me off. She's been through rough patches. I picked her up and brushed her off. That's what business partners do to each other. Katie, Pops, Dave, Renica, you know, have all picked us both up at times and brushed us off and patted us on the butt and sent us back on our way to get us going back again. That's what good mentors and business partners do. Because you're going to hit a rough patch, whether you think so or not. It's not all rainbows and daisies out there, you know. It takes work, it's hard work, and it takes dedication. So if you're not here to be dedicated for the long haul, then you're in the wrong place.
Yeah, see, it's definitely not rainbows and daisies. It's more like roller derby or rugby. Like, let's get more accurate here. Let's just squash this myth once and for all. It is more like rugby. I'm taking elbows to the face, okay? It's gonna happen. You're gonna get knocked on your ass a few times.
Oh yeah, I mean, what was it, about a month ago? I was expressing some concerns, and I'd kind of fallen down a little bit and felt I wasn't getting where I was, and you kind of patted me on the butt and smacked me upside the head and said, "Come on, Jimmy, get your head going and let's get back in the game," you know. And I've done that to you before too, you know. You've had some struggles, and I've helped you out with that too, you know. And that's,
oh yeah, you're the one who's always like, as soon as I sit, you know, back when we were like door-to-door sales, I had a door-to-door sales job. I admit it now. I was definitely that person you didn't want ringing your doorbell because you were about to spend $400. But I would go, and we called it curb ass, because you get your territory, you get your tea for the day, and then you know, if you had a couple of bad days or you had a couple of bad doors, whatever, and you'd sit on the curb, so you can get curb ass. And it's like, it's super hard to get up off that curb. All of a sudden, it's like that curb has been magnetized to your butt and you don't want to get up. But there's those times that I've had curb ass and I'm like about to sit down and Jamie's there like, nope, 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 come on. And it's like dragging me by the collar. And I'm like, I'm coming.
I mean, that's what's nice about having partners, you know, because you can pick each other up. You know, the first 7 years I was in internet business, 7-8 years I was in internet business by myself. I was trying to do it by myself, and, you know, and afraid to ask questions because I was afraid somebody wouldn't help me, you know. And it was a rough and hard struggle. So, you know, if you're trying to do this by yourself, don't be afraid to ask questions. You know, reach out to any of us. We're here to help. You know, I know Wonder What would be willing to help anybody, you know, and I'm the same way. You know, like Dave reached out to me today about his website getting hacked. You know, I've had a website hacked and deemed a spam blog before. That's why he reached out to me, you know, and it took me 2 years to get that out of Google's, you know, block pages and stuff. And that was the Penny Pincher Marketing website that I had my show on previously. It took me 2 years to get that out of a spam, deemed as a spam blog out of Google's eyes, you know, and it took a long time because all it takes is one rogue hacker to get in and screw everything up, you know. So probably this Saturday, I'm going to be showing some plugins for you guys. You won't be able to do it to your MLSP blog, but if you have other blogs out there, I'll be showing some security plugins that you can install to help protect your WordPress websites from getting hacked. If you have an LSP, they have security installed where they're very hard to get hacked, you know. So it's things like that, you know. We all have bad days, you know. Whit sent me a message the other night, and I was deep in water line because my kid's water went out, and I worked on it for 3 days before I finally got it fixed. Time I get it fixed, we turn the water on, it leaked everywhere, you know. And I sent her an apology the next day because, you know, I kind of looked at my message and I thought I was being rude to her. She's like, "Oh, no problem, I understand."
I was like, what is he talking about? And I had to like go back, and I was like, well, I guess if you were like, like, yeah, I get being busy. That's just it. Is we have so much going on, and you know, in this stage we have. I don't know that an entrepreneur ever really leaves the building phase. I think you leave the trenches, but I don't think you ever leave building. You know what I mean? And so I think that when we're caught up in building and we're trying to come out of these trenches, I feel like life gets crazy. Life just gets chaotic. And of course, you know, me having 3 kids, life is always chaotic. It's basically a circus with, you know, less elephants. There's monkeys. There's totally monkeys, but they're like flying monkeys at that. So life just gets crazy. And, you know, when you have a good partner and you have that commonality, and like Jamie and I do, or I swear Jamie's like the brother I never had. And I'm like, I don't know. I value our partnership. And so when he sent me his message, I didn't even think anything of it. And he's like, "I'm sorry if I was snappy." And I'm like, what are you talking about? I had to go back and reread it. And I was like, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes, you know, I can look at a message or the way I talk sometimes, and sometimes I think I'm snappy, and maybe I'm not being, you know, like something was said to me today, and I asked Katie, I said, "Did I do something wrong?" You know, and she's like, "No, I don't think so." I said, "Well, somebody's wanting to talk to me pretty bad, and I didn't know if I did something wrong or not." She said, "No, you're probably just overthinking it, you know." And I probably was overthinking it because I have that problem sometimes. I overthink stuff a lot, and that's just how your brain works, you know. And that's why people struggle, because they overthink stuff. They spend, you know, 2 or 3 days writing a blog post that should take them 30 minutes to an hour, you know, and because they want it perfect. Well, I can't put my content out there till it's perfect. Well, no, just get it out there. It don't have to be perfect. You know, get stuff out there. People aren't ever going to know who you are if everything's got to be perfect, because you got to get your face out there in front of people.
Yeah, you know, what's funny is I just did a live on this one, because done is better than perfect. Done will get you 1,000 more places than perfect will, because perfect doesn't exist. Perfect, the laws of the universe do not allow for perfection. It's just impossible. And so the more you strive for it, the more that you're going to make yourself crazy. Now, perfect for you, maybe, but still, that shouldn't even be your goal. Your goal should be done. Your goal should be finished. That's it. Get it out there. Put your name on it, sign, seal, deliver, and put it out. Because if you wait till it's perfect, it's never going to be good enough. It's never going to be done.
Exactly. And I don't remember if I was talking to you or who I was talking to, but, you know, I said something that I joined a meditation class. And I said the reason why I joined the meditation class is because I wanted to control the monkeys in my brain. You brought up monkeys. I wanted to learn to control the monkeys in my brain, because sometimes they act up, you know, and I want to learn how to control them.
Yeah, I feel you. I felt that. Like, you know, I come from a background with mental health and stuff like that, so I always call it the little green monster. when I'm getting into a funk. I'm like, the little green monster has come out to play. I gotta put him back in his cage. I'll be right back. That's my self-talk, is because I don't see that as me anymore. A lot of people, like, for my particular diagnosis, I have bipolar disorder, and a lot of people say I'm bipolar or that person's bipolar, and that's always been kind of like a sandpaper to me, because I'm like, I am not my disorder. I am very different from my disorder. This disorder is a chemical imbalance that gets out of whack sometimes, and that's what I have to deal with, is the symptoms, but it is not me. So the little green monster stays well fed in his cage. You know, he gets in there and he's kept at bay, and that's it. That's what I deal with. I'm good. Everybody has their own stuff. Everybody has their own stuff. Mine's definitely not worse than the next person. I don't think there is a next, by the way, or worse. We all come from like super. You could have somebody with the same background, same grew up, everything, but because we're such different people, no two people are going to handle it the same way or cope with it the same way or tolerate it the same way. That's just something I've always felt. But as far as, you know, being, I think when people say I have, or I am this, or I am that, that is a very definitive statement. And you have to be extremely careful about the way you apply it, especially if it's something that you don't want to be, or you don't want to be known for or exhibit 24/7. Like, I will say, I am gratitude, I'm grateful, I am prosperous, I'm happy. Those are things that I want to be 24/7, and it's a powerful statement. But I do not want to be my disorder 24/7.
Plain and simple, sometimes I get monkey brain and they come out to play and they stay there for a while until I get rid of them, you know. And the one thing that people don't understand, you're going to take more crap from yourself than anybody else, because you're going to continue to shovel yourself your own crap until you decide you don't want to take it no more. You know, people don't realize that, you know, and that's where procrastination comes from. That's where making excuses comes from, because you'd rather give yourself your crap instead of do what you need to do. You know, I seen Carlene made a post in the chat, you know, okay, just do it. Thanks, guys. She'll do it, you know. And Carlene, I've been on some of your Facebook lives. You are a gifted natural speaker, and, you know, and just keep doing it, because I see the interaction you get on your posts and stuff, and the way you speak. You know, people, as long as you continue to do it, people are going to continue to grow and love you, because it's just the way you speak. And when you're on the workshop, when you speak, you know, people shut up and pay attention because of the way you speak.
Yes, definitely a very powerful presence, and I love that about her. Oh my gosh, she's very riveting. As soon as she speaks, it's like, I'm listening. And you're very happy about it. You're like, I'm listening. It's awesome. I love that about Carlene.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And that's what something a lot of people don't understand. You know, when you're born to be a powerful being, you know, I'm going to say in God's eyes. If you don't believe in God, that's fine. You know,
God, universe, whatever your belief is.
Whatever your belief is. This is, you know, my belief is God, you know. But you were born to be a powerful being. And some way along the way, you got reprogrammed. And we got to get back to that basic programming we were born with, you know, because our brains are just like a computer. If something's not right in it, you don't believe in something, you just need to reprogram it. And I like to use this analogy a lot, you know, and I didn't really think about it until I watched my grandson. You know, he's 3 now, he'll be 4 in December, you know, and you've probably seen it with your daughter because she's about the same age, you know, seeing him walk for the first time or seeing him crawl, you know, it's not, I try to crawl or I try to walk, stand up, and then on my youngest grandson right now, Sai, he just started walking, you know. It's not that he'd stand up, take a step, fall down, and that's it, he's done, you know. He'd get right back up and do it again. We have a never give up attitude in the very beginning when we're born. That's why we're capable of great things. And we got to get back to that never give up attitude. And in this business and in our life. You know, it doesn't just pertain to business, it pertains to life. You can't give up, because once upon a time you had a never give up attitude, and you need to find that desire and passion again, because it's in there. You just got to reprogram it back into yourself.
Yeah, you know, I don't think any child has been born with a program that says I can't. It's always, let me see if I can, you know. And I've been around kids a lot. I mean, not just my own kids, but when I think I was like 13 when I started watching kids and, you know, babysitting and stuff like that and helping out. And man, you know, no kid, you know, especially like learning to walk, they fall on their butt so many times. And, you know, after like a long day when they're sleepy, then they're like, I'm going to take a break, but they get right back up, you know, the next day, and there they are, you know, banging their head on, you know, whatever. They're falling on their butt, you know, they're taking tumbles, and they just keep going. And you have to have that sort of drive. I mean, think about it. And if you think about it, kids are always looking at adults, and they're looking up all the time. And that's how we look at our leaders and our mentors. We look up all the time. And for some reason, as adults, we look at them and we look up and we're like, I don't know if I can be that great. But when a kid does it, they're like, how do I get up there? Like, you know, and that's where our attitude has to change. That's where our mindset has to change, and our self-talk. My gosh, self-talk is just such a big part of it. And the more that you become self-aware and really focus on that inner dialogue, your mindset, the way you talk to yourself, the more that you will see where the programming is. You'll start to see the symptoms and why do I think this way? That's one of the biggest things, is once you're challenged and you're a little offended by something, or you think you can't do something, you should always ask yourself why. And keep asking why. Because if your thing is, oh, I can't set up a blog, I'm not techie. Why? Why aren't you techie? Well, it's just something I don't know. Why? There's plenty of stuff on YouTube. Like, there's stuff. If your thing in there, your programming is telling you, oh, well, I just don't know, go learn it. Go learn it. There's no excuse anymore. We live in the information age. We have a plethora of information. We have so much out there that there's really no excuse to not learn.
Exactly. And I actually had somebody join me, and he quit because he couldn't figure out how to set up a blog. And anybody that's ever worked with me and I've taught knows that I teach in such a simple way that even a child can do it. You know, and you go watch my videos on how to set up, you know, a WordPress blog, how to set up a Divi page like I did.
I'm a child. You've taught me.
You know, and I give it easy, step by step. I've been teaching guys straight out of college, you know, engineers that come straight out of college and know nothing about drafting. And I sit there and teach them step by step how to draft, you know, and I'm very particular. I'm very meticulous, you know, how I want things done. And the new guy we brought in here just a while back, he's an old dog like me. He's got like 30 years of experience. I've got like 26 years of experience. You know, he's like me. He's set in his own ways, and he likes to have things done a certain way, in which we don't conflict because, you know, our styles are similar to each other. So we kind of want things the same way. And it was kind of refreshing to have somebody like that come in instead of a new guy to have to train them and mold them into how you like things done. And, you know, so in marketing, you know, I have to be kind of smacked around a little bit because I try to get in the habit where I want it done my way. Well, it's not about how I want it done. It's about helping who needs help and solving what problem they have, because it doesn't matter what way I want to do it or how I want to teach it. What matters is the end result is helping the person overcome the problem they're having, setting up a website, setting up a blog, you know, marketing, whatever, you know. I gotta help them do what they need help with.
I just want to point out, Pops made a great comment in the chat. He said, you know, self-talk on purpose, and that's definitely it. Self-talk on purpose with purpose. You know, there's a purpose to the inner dialogue. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm gonna drop a golden nugget, but there's a purpose to your inner dialogue. You know, in the laws of attraction, your intuition is your tie to the universe, and that's your communication. That's like the universe giving you emails, and when you open these up and you listen, your self-talk has a lot to say about it. Your self-talk takes in that information and it translates it to your brain. So that's your translator for your intuition, if you will. So when you're translating, you got to make sure your interpreter knows what the hell they're doing, that little translator up there. So self-talk on purpose, with purpose. If your translator is broken or defective, we need to correct that. We need to get in there and see what's going on.
If I didn't talk to myself all the time, I'd have, I'd be lonely, because a lot of times I'm by myself. 3 hours a day I spend on the road, and if I didn't talk to myself on the road every day, I'd be very lonely.
Are you kidding? I'm with 3 kids all day. If I didn't talk to myself, I'd have no conversation. My kids are like, "Bye, Mom." Bye. Or they come over and they want to talk about Transformers and Paw Patrol and Wonder Pets, and I'm like, I don't know what you're saying.
We do, the company I work for, we do traffic counts. We count the average daily traffic on highways and roads and stuff. And I got a girl that I've trained and taught her how to do everything most of everything that I do. And she come in my office to bring me the stuff to get ready to submit to the prime. And I'm designing a plat for a piece of land that we're doing. We're taking it up in the city of Champaign, where they're doing handicap ramps on the sidewalks and stuff. So we have to take right away and stuff like that. So we have to do replat it all and everything. And I'm talking to myself while I'm doing the plat, and she goes, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." "Why? What's wrong?" She said, "Well, you're talking to yourself. I've never heard anybody do that before." I'm like, You don't talk to yourself?" She goes, "No, that's just weird." I said, if I didn't talk to myself, if I didn't talk myself through the design on how to do this, I said I'd never be able to do it.
I don't think I've ever not talked to myself. Like, even as a child, I was very imaginative. Like, I'm the youngest of 3, but my older 2 siblings are very close in age, so they were buddies and they did things together and all that kind of stuff. And I was usually the odd man out because there was a bigger age gap. So I was really highly imaginative, and I had to be, and it was funny. Funny story. This one time at work, I don't even remember which job. Oh, I do remember. It was that sales job. Curbass, Katie. I saw you were laughing at that. Curbass is a real thing. But anyway, while I was at that office, somebody asked me about imaginary friends. "Oh, did you have an imaginary friend when you were little?" And everybody's going around talking about their imaginary friend. And they got to me, and I looked at them, and I was like, "Y'all only had one? I had like a posse. Like, what's wrong with you guys?" Like, that was popular. True story, though. I really did have a lot of imaginary friends.
Well, we all have, or not you all, we all, I sound like I'm from Texas now. You all.
When you hang out with me.
Well, my grandparents lived in Texas most of their life. When Hurricane Ike hit LaPorte, Texas, is when we went down and moved them back to Illinois, because they lived in LaPorte, Texas all their lives. And, so I've been down there a few times. I just stationed down there in basic training. I hated San Antonio, and then I went to Wichita Falls, Texas for another 3 months, and I hated Wichita Falls, Texas.
See, San Antonio is crazy because there's a lot of little towns put together, and so it doesn't it's not a grid, and it's so big. There's a lot of people, and yeah, but I get that. I actually live north of San Antonio, so I'm out in the hill country where there's only like 8,000 people. It's so wonderful. My kids go to a great school. It's small, lots of community out here. So that's what I like about it.
Well, my grandparents lived like 2 blocks from the beach in LaPorte, Texas. And after Hurricane Ike, we went down to get them in their house. Instead of being flat on the ground like this, it was like this.
Scary. Ike was a big one.
Yeah. So, I've been down there a few times, more than I can count, and I get that southern drawl. Sometimes, I mean, if I go meet people from Chicago, one of our big structural engineers is from Chicago, and he always tells me I have a southern accent. I'm like, I don't have an accent. He's like, yes, you do.
I'm sorry, but you do.
Well, I'm from Central Illinois. I've lived in Central Illinois all my life, except for the 4 years I was in the Air Force, and I was stationed in Osco, Michigan, right on Lake Huron. So
I was gonna say it's not a Texas draw. It's definitely a Midwest, but yeah. I'm sorry, Jamie, but you do have a draw.
that's fine, and people think that sometimes I know I've had people ask me that I'm slow. No, I just have a relaxed personality. That's just how I am. I used to get upset and be a real hothead, but I've learned to control my actions, my temper, and stuff over the years. And this is just how I am. I don't get upset very often, but when I do, look out.
Katie's over here singing Paw Patrols in the chat. No job is too big, no pup is too small.
That's right.
Katie, what is your excuse? Oh wait, you have nieces. Never mind.
Yes.
I was like, hold on, you don't have kids. Did you guys hear that? Jamie? Did you? My daughter handed me something. She goes, "Mommy, smell that." That's like parenting, like red flag. Do I really? And if it wasn't disinfecting wipes.
Yeah. Do you want to go there or not? And to be all honest, I have an unfair advantage when it comes to all this because I have a Katie and a Pops that push me along all the time. So they help keep me on my toes too. They help pick me up when I'm down. So I return the favor, which we were talking about a little earlier about picking our partners up and stuff. So it's good to have people like that around you. Not only that, not are they there to pick me up, they're great friends, and I just kind of want to touch back on the mentorship stuff just a little bit more. But what great thing to have happen is to actually have your sponsor come down and spend time with you, because Pops and Katie, live the dream. They're traveling the United States in an RV. They come down and spend a week with me. How, my last company I worked with, I couldn't even spell my sponsor's name, let alone ever talk to him, because he didn't ever answer an email or a phone call. He left me out on an island, which that's my excuse. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it because basically he did leave me out on an island. But like Katie, I took it upon myself to learn the stuff I need to learn and find the people that I need to hang out with to get to where I need to be. But how cool is it to have your sponsor actually come down and hang out with you for a week, and spend time with you? And, the whole time they spent here, Pops and Katie, I don't think we ever sit and actually masterminded the whole time. We just visited, got to know each other, and just spent time together, basically.
That is really cool. I know. I'll never forget my first MLM. My sponsor sent me copy and paste messages. And I remember reading them thinking, I wonder if she copied and pasted these because they don't really make sense. And then anytime getting her attention after that was like, oh my God, I had to make a fuss. Like I would have to get in a group chat and be like, hey, I've sent you several messages. Can you answer my questions, please? And it's like, and that happens a lot where sponsors are just sponsors. And so I want to make that clear too about mentorship, that mentorship isn't necessarily from your sponsor. It definitely depends on the sponsor, whether or not they're going to mentor you, and to each their own, because I know a lot of people just tend to drive traffic and not really guide people. And I don't want to bash it because everybody has their own methods, but at the same time, I feel like this is an industry that you definitely need a guide in. So if you don't have a solid mentor in who you're sponsored by, look for one.
Yeah. And you just went to live the dream not too long ago. how cool was it to hang out with a 7-figure earner, you know? And she even sent me a voice message on Wonderwit's phone telling me happy anniversary because it was mine and my wife's anniversary that day. That's awesome, you know, to rub elbows with Diane Hockman, you know, so.
Yeah, she was cool. She caught me in the back of the room. She's like, Wonder, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, actually, hang on a second. Let me get you over here. So yeah, she got my voice message.
You know, and events are very important. You know, I kind of was mad at myself because I mislived the dream, but, you know, I couldn't be there for, you know, unforeseen circumstances, you know, but, you know, I plan on going next year. And I've been to a few events, you know, and events change lives. That is a true fact. Events change lives. You know, I would have never met Pat Patterson if I hadn't gone to an event. And if I hadn't met Pat Patterson, I never would have met Katie and Pops. I never would have met Dave Renicky. I never would have been on the 24-hour marketing mastermind. I never would have met Wonderwit. You know, it's the people that you meet in your life in the span. You're meant to meet them when you meet them because they're put in your life path for a reason, because you're meant to meet them. You're meant to have a relationship with them. You're meant to grow with them and, you know, become friends or business partners with them. You know, and I believe that everybody's put in your path for a reason. And you know, there's a reason Wonderwit and I came together and connected, because God, you know, and here I go again, using God as, you know, that's my belief. God has a path for me and she's in my path. So he connected her with me to put me on my path to fulfill my purpose. And that's what my purpose is. She's part of my purpose. You know, that's why we've aligned and come on the show together. And, you know, it's not my show anymore. It's our show.
Yeah, I definitely believe the same thing, where I feel like you meet people for a reason, and either they're there to help you or they're there to help you gain on your purpose, or they're there to help you learn a lesson. And some of those lessons aren't so nice to learn, but they're very, very valuable. I can honestly say, you know, even the most painful lessons that I had to learn have shaped me into a better person, because that's what I chose to make my reality. It is a choice. You know, when you experience trauma in any form, you know, whether it really doesn't matter, whatever trauma that you end up surviving and you've experienced, there's always a positivity that you can take out of that. There's always something you can take from that to become better. You can make the experience what you want. You can, and I'm going in a general sense here, but, you know, without downplaying the trauma and the pain that is associated with it, you can become a better person, and you can make that experience what you want. It can either be the worst experience of your life, or it can be the best lesson you've ever learned.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. It sounded like one of the kids was taking a shower.
These boys, I swear, I'm like, I keep telling them, like, shh, and then they're like running through here, and I have to like keep moving the camera this way because they're like, you know, half dressed, and I'm like, you guys, if there's a camera, they can see you. Like,
no flashing, no flashing.
Nope, let's keep this.
This is a PG show.
PG, please. Good Lord, I swear they have no shame.
I want to thank everybody that's in the chat. Carlene, Katie, Pops, Joe Whistler, Joe McKenzie, Barb Sanders Cole. I'm sure Tim was in there too, watching along with Barb, Christina Mitchell, and anybody, if I didn't call out your name, we do appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us. We put our brains together for you, to get your questions answered. Wonderwit and I are always learning, always growing, and I'll get the questions section done this week, to get some questions, and in the meantime, if you have questions for either one of us, they're below the chat box. There's a contact Jamie Shaw button, and there's a contact Wonder Wit. Takes you straight to our Facebook profile. If you have questions, send us a message, ask us questions. You have a topic that you want us to talk about, don't be afraid to send us a message and say, hey, will you guys talk about this next week? We'll be more than happy to put it on our schedule and talk about it the very next week, because we want to help you grow with us. That's the whole purpose of why we come together to do this show. We want to help you as much as we want to help ourselves. It's not about us, it's about you.
Exactly. I was just going to say that, Jamie. It's not helpful if it's not helping you, as the audience. This isn't about us. This isn't about us. Obviously we already know the things we're talking about. So we're here to help, and we're here to serve, and that's what we want to lead with. So if you need help, just ask. There's no ego here. There's no, humiliation tactic. You're not going to be called out. No, this is about learning. This is about growing and teaching others to do the same.
Yeah, and if you're interested in the program we use, there's a Get Started button, big orange Get Started Now button. So I got away from the candy like yellow button, and we got a big orange candy button. So get started. You get 10-day test drive. If you don't like it in 10 days, then quit. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. You're not gonna hurt Wonder Wit's feelings. It's not meant for everybody. Give it a test drive. Go and kick it around and see what it's all about. Once you see all the training inside, you're gonna be like, wow, I need this. That's what I want.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when I found it, I was like, this is everything I've been missing. Like, yeah. Wait, what? And I remember, coming out of the MLM and coming into this and thinking like, this is the training that they were taking and they weren't telling us. And I remember being so upset about it because I felt robbed. There's training that the top dogs and MLMs are taking that they're not telling you because they can't. Whether it's by contract with the MLM or just, wanting to keep you focused on pushing volume. But this is definitely what you're missing.
Yep. And everybody that's on, don't be afraid to, if you got somebody that's kicking the bucket and don't know whether they want to join you or not, bring them here. We'll give them some information and stuff, and then they'll, be like, oh, you're part of that community and they give you that for free, then they'll be more willing to join you, and they see all the value and stuff that we give, because every week we're going to be putting on a valuable show to get the education that you need. So
exactly, be a resource, and if you feel that you are lacking as a mentor, bring them here. Let us help you. Let us help you. Let us add in more value to what you're already offering.
Well, it's the top of the hour. I want to respect everybody's time. We've been on here for an hour, and Wonder Wit and I like to keep this to an hour. We always have when we've been together, and so I'm going to remind you, if you hit that big orange button and decide to take $10 test drive, you also get access to our Workshop Warrior Institute, which happens Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is an institute of masterminds. We're all business partners. We're all masterminds. We get in there, mastermind together, and solve problems. Hi.
This thing is naked.
You're fired. You see?
Yeah, I know. Monday night, come to the 24-hour marketing mastermind with Dave Renicky, Katie State, Pops, and myself. Tuesday night, Sonia Harris and Maria Ascani have Marketing Systems at Work. That's an awesome show. And then Wednesday night, it's Pat Patterson's Wisdom Wednesday. And then back here Thursday night for Thriving Thursday. And we'll be here every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.